What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com, and as the board says, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to break that annoying plateau that you are currently stuck in. Alright, like I said, I'm going to be talking about how you guys can break out of that plateau you're in, or if you're not currently in a plateau, how you can either avoid that from happening, or if it does happen in the future, then you can break out of it in the future. And I'm going to be showing you 3 different ways that you can do this. 2 a little simpler, but also very effective. And then the third one, I'm actually going to take you to the gym with me and basically show you a training method that I do to break out of a plateau if I ever find myself in one. But before I do that, I want to break down exactly what a plateau is. That way you guys have a better understanding of why you're in one or why you're going to be doing certain things to get out of it. So what I have written up here is General Adaptation Syndrome. What does that mean? So short, it's just GAS. And basically, this General Adaptation Syndrome was created by an endocrinologist, a Canadian endocrinologist, a long time ago when he researched plateaus, also known as homeostasis, which is when your body basically, how your body responds to stress, and he came up with this. And this is actually broken down into 3 different phases, and these 3 phases are going to help you understand why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. So, phase 1, also known as alarm reaction. This is what you call a beginner. This is why when you first start going to the gym, or if you're a beginner out there right now watching this video, you find that in the beginning of this weightlifting, this workout journey that you're on, you find that you build muscle faster, you burn fat faster, and you put on strength faster. And this is due to the intermuscular, the intramuscular, and the neural adaptations that are occurring in your body. And this will eventually slow, but this is the first phase of the stress that this new weightlifting program is having on your body. And then after that, we have phase 2, the stage of resistance. And the second phase, this phase is actually the one that most of us find ourselves in. If you've been working out for a little while, you're continuously in phase 2 of this. You could break back into phase 1 if you really change your workouts up to where exercises you've never done before, work muscle fibers that you've never done, and maybe you're strength training for the first time or something like that. But you will quickly work your way back into phase 2. For beginners, this can take up to a year. When you first start working out, it can take up to a year to break into this stage of resistance. But for those of you who have been working out for a while, this is why you have to continuously change up your workouts throughout your weightlifting career, your weightlifting journey. And also what you want to do is basically get your weight training and your nutrition so that they work synergistically to basically avoid the body adaptation that will be occurring. Because if you don't have your nutrition, and if you're trying to build muscle and you're trying to get bigger, if you don't have the caloric surplus that you need to actually get bigger, then you're not going to get bigger. Or if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to burn fat and you're training to burn fat, but you're not in a caloric deficit where you're burning more calories than what you're intaking, then you're not going to lose any weight. You're not really going to lose any fat. So this is where your training and your nutrition should work together to basically help your body avoid the adaptation that's going to occur. And then after that, we have phase 3, the stage of exhaustion. And this is actually something that you want to try to avoid at all costs. You can't really avoid it completely, but this is also what you call overtraining. And a lot of you are probably saying, there's no such thing as overtraining. If that's you, you need to get that out of your head right now, because there is definitely such thing as overtraining. And this is just basically where you put too much stress on your body and it can no longer handle it, and you'll actually go into muscle atrophy, which is where your muscles actually start breaking down, versus muscle hypertrophy, where you actually build muscle or build strength. And basically one way to, if you do go into this stage of exhaustion and you are having this muscle atrophy that's happening and you're actually losing muscle or you're losing strength, the best way to get out of this and work your way back into either phase 1 or phase 2 is by doing, this is why I recommend rest days. If you're going on some kind of workout program and you're not doing at least 1 rest day a week, I highly recommend doing a rest day, if not 2 rest days. Or if you're really not going to do any kind of rest day, I would recommend maybe a whole entire week off. That way you can get out of this stage of exhaustion and you can basically let your body recover, and all that stress that you've put on your muscles, you can allow your body to just basically get back to normal so that you can start working out again and your muscles can actually start benefiting from the shit that you're doing to them. Or what powerlifters do when they reach this stage of exhaustion is they basically go into what is called a deload week, which is where they do either much less volume or much less weight when they're training. With that being said, these are the 3 phases of the general adaptation syndrome, and that just helps you understand what it is that we're going to be talking about. Now, I want to give you 3 tips that you guys can start using to break out of this plateau that you're in, or just avoid plateaus in general. All right, so method number 1 is just changing up your sets and reps. And this might seem basic to some of you, but is extremely effective. And you could get into difficult ways of how to do this. I'm going to give you guys a super easy way right now. And I'm going to use a bench press as an example, okay? Let's say most of you who watch this channel are working out for your bodybuilding. You're working out for muscle gains. I don't really have a powerlifting channel, so I'm assuming most of you aren't going to the gym and trying to do strength training. So you're not really doing low rep workouts. So let's use bench press as an example, and let's say you're going to the gym and you're doing 3 sets of 10 reps at 200 pounds. Okay, let's make this easy. So that's going to be 30 reps, and that's going to be 6,000 pounds that is lifted. So that's what you call your tonnage, okay? So when you're changing up your sets and reps, you don't do it for months at a time. All you do is you basically go into 1 week of changing up your sets and reps, and that basically shocks your muscles and gets them back into the hypertrophy rather than the atrophy. So your muscles are no longer adapted to what you're doing because you're changing up how you're training them. You're stimulating different kind of muscle fibers, slow twitch versus fast twitch. So a good way to change this up, so if you're going 3 sets of 10 reps at 200 pounds, very easy way to change this up is just by switching those and going, instead of 3 sets of 10 reps, going 10 sets at 3 reps. Obviously, you're going to up your weight because you're doing lower reps. So let's say you're doing 250 pounds. So if you're doing 10 sets of 3 reps at 250 pounds, your volume is the exact same. You're doing the exact same number of reps. But when you're doing 3 sets of 10 reps at 200 pounds, that's 6,000 pounds total. That's your tonnage. Whereas if you're doing 10 sets of 3 reps at, let's say, 250 pounds because you can do a heavier weight, that's 7,500 pounds total with the same amount of volume. So you're going to be doing the same amount of volume, but you're going to be lifting a shitload more weight throughout your workout, therefore breaking out of that plateau. So that's one very easy way to basically change up your sets and reps to break out of a plateau. After that, we have method number 2. Changing up your exercises. Again, this might seem a little basic to some of you, but it is one of the most important things if you ever plan to see continuous results in the mirror and on the scale, or just in the strength gains that you're going to ever get. And a very easy way to do this is just by changing up your workout regimen every 4 to 6 weeks. And why are you doing this? Because basic principles apply here. If you're doing flat bench for 4 to 6 weeks and you're getting used to that, a very easy way is just to go over to the dumbbell bench press and do things like that. Or what I would do if I were you guys is, if you're going to the gym and you're hitting, let's say, 1 muscle group per day, and you're going and you're hitting chest, what I would do is I would write down every single chest exercise you know, and I would pick the certain chest exercises that you want, targeting which head of your chest that you want to target. If you want to target the upper head, or if you want to target the middle head, if you want to target the lower head, whatever it is you want to target, get those exercises written out in a plan that you're going to follow for 4 to 6 weeks. After that, go back to that list that you've written out and pick different exercises that are also going to target the heads that you want to target on your chest, and do that for every single muscle group. And that is going to allow your muscles to basically never get used to the workout regimen that you're doing. And it is honestly one of the most important things for continuous results that a lot of people overlook. And that's why some people go to the gym, they've been doing the same exercises for years, and that's why they've looked the same for years. So don't do that, guys. So that brings us to method number 3, eccentric overload. And you might have no clue what this is, and that's okay, because I actually filmed this one in the gym, and I'm gonna take you there right now. All right, so when it comes to eccentric overload, you first gotta kind of explain what that even means. So let's just break it down by word. The first word, eccentric. That is just referring to the contraction that your muscle is doing. So when you're doing 1 rep, let's say you're doing a bicep curl, there's 3 contractions, okay? So you have the curl up, which is called your concentric contraction. You have it when you hold it at the top, or in the middle, wherever you're holding it in one place, that would be an isometric contraction. And then you have on the way back down, which is called your eccentric contraction. So eccentric, that's gonna be the way back down. Next word's overload. So basically what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be trying to overload the negative portion of the rep. And by doing that is simply by using a weight that's a little too heavy for you. Some people frown on this. This is actually a great way to just smash through plateaus, but there is a smarter way to do it. So what you want to avoid is actually injuring yourself in the concentric contraction of this exercise. So there are specific ways that you can go about getting the concentric contraction done properly without hurting yourself. That way you can be in position to overload your muscle in the eccentric phase of this. When you're doing a bench press, people have done bench press negatives all the time, and this is just simply by maybe getting on a bench and using weight that is too heavy for you to actually bench on your own, having a spotter on top of you, and basically you let the weight down as slow as you can on your own because you physically aren't able to hold it up, and then it's too heavy for you to push up, so the spotter actually lifts it completely up to the top and you go down slow again. So that's how you would do it on a bench press. I'm gonna show you guys how to do it with a curl and with a lat pull down. So I'm gonna show you it with a curl first. When you're doing it with a curl, there is a specific way to do this, and an eccentric overload is actually a great way to build up your bigger biceps in general, and I've talked about this in past videos before, but I wanna give you guys the exact breakdown of how to basically cheat the weight up. So when you're doing this, you don't just wanna get heavier weight and just kinda throw your back out and end up pulling something in your lower back, pinching a nerve, something, and end up hurting yourself. So what you want to do is, instead of just standing up straight and leaning back farther than what up straight is, what you want to do is you actually want to bend over first, and you want to basically explode from here to here. And this is going to help you create the momentum to curl the weight up, and then you're in the correct position to eccentrically overload your muscle. So you're going to bend over, explode to here, use that momentum that you're creating to curl the weight up and overload the muscle on the way down, so that you're using a weight that's too heavy. So I'm gonna show you. So this weight I could actually probably curl it a couple times on my own. So I'm gonna exhaust my muscles real quick. Okay, now you're gonna go from bending over, you're gonna explode up, get the weight up, and then you're gonna go down as slow as possible. And I can't physically, if I try to hold this weight in place, I physically can't do it. Going down as slow as possible. Bending over, creating momentum, get that weight up, down as slow as possible. And if I try to hold this weight, I'll show you. I'm gonna try to legitimately hold it at the top. I physically can't. So that goes to show, when you are exhausted and you're doing an exercise like a curl and you can't actually curl the weight up, therefore that will allow you to hit a plateau, because you're not gonna be able to get any added weight, because if you don't have a spotter, how are you going to basically get that weight up in order to get the negative contraction of it without hurting yourself? So that's why creating that momentum from bending over, exploding up to straight, letting yourself bounce up, and then eccentrically overloading your muscle is going to allow you to break down more muscle fibers, which is also going to therefore break a plateau if you're not able to get your arms to grow or you're not able to get any stronger. So that's how you do it with a curl. Now I'm going to show you guys how to do it on a lat pull down. All right, so I misspoke, I guess. The lat pull down machine is taken, so I'm going to show you guys how to do it with a pull up. A lot of times people have issues even getting a couple pull-ups if they're trying to do even a set of maybe 5 to 10 and they can only get maybe 1 or 2. This is actually a great way to build up your strength. That way you're able to do more pull-ups. So before I get into the eccentric overload of a pull-up, I'm going to first exhaust my back muscles and basically do as many pull-ups as I can. So all right, so now I've kind of exhausted my back muscles on this pull-up. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can do it, one, by kicking. So I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna kick up, and then you're gonna go down as slow as you can, feeling that stretch in your back muscle all the way down the bottom, kick up, all the way down the bottom. So that's one way. The second way is I'm actually going to basically be touching my feet to the ground, and I'm going to go from here and I'm going to jump up and I'm going to lower myself as slow as possible. This is a great way to build up the strength for a pull-up. Jump up, eccentrically overloading because I can't physically pull myself up anymore. If you can't pull yourself up anymore, how are you supposed to let yourself back down? And the eccentric contraction of any exercise really is what's going to really promote the most muscle gains that you could get. So introducing eccentric overload in pretty much any exercise is going to help you, therefore, break a plateau. All right, guys, so hopefully you learned something from this video. I gave you 3 tips to break out of plateaus. If you guys are looking for 3 more free tips, I actually created a physique builder tool that basically gets the info that I need out of you and then spits out 3 tips for your specific body type that you can start using today. You don't have to buy anything, none of that. And then at the end of that, if you do want to get the program that it matches you up with that is right for your body, that's completely your choice, but I'm just being honest with you. You don't have to buy anything. You'll get 3 free tips just like that. Other than that, if you like this video, make sure you're giving it a thumbs up so I know to keep making videos like this. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you're commenting them in the comment section below. Other than that, guys, please make sure you are clicking that subscribe button down there so that you are getting notified when I'm releasing new content, because I got more stuff coming for you all the time just like this. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon.